On behalf of the entire B-2 team, I am proud to present the first B-2 bomber.
Zero 600 local. June 27th, 2026. Andersen Air Force Base, Guam. A B-2 Spirit rolls into the dawn and lifts off. No call sign announced, no transponder. 200 miles north, in the Philippine Sea, a ship sits waiting on the water, and it is already dead. It just doesn't know it yet. That ship is a retired hull, a target in a test range. What happens to it in the next few minutes is a message, and it is aimed at the largest navy on Earth. For 30 years, the B-2 was the bomber that flattened bunkers and leveled air defenses. On this morning, the US Air Force reveals that it has quietly become something else entirely. A ghost that hunts fleets, and the world did not know it could. The first rule of this war.
The B-2 stealth bomber far and away the most expensive weapon system ever built. The US Air Force designed it, Northrop built it. Now they want Congress to sign the check.
The B-2 is revolutionary.
To understand why this matters, you have to understand the problem it solves. For 20 years, China has been building a wall, not of stone, but of missiles. Layered batteries on the mainland, including the DF-21D, the missile they call the carrier killer, reaching out over 1,000 miles. Submarines. And a surface fleet growing so fast, the Pentagon projects it toward 400 ships. The whole design has one purpose: to push America's aircraft carriers so far back that their planes can't reach the fight. Strategists call it anti-access, area denial. But here's the first rule of this war, stated plainly: get close and you die. So the answer was never to get close. The answer was to reach across the wall, from the outside, with something they can't see coming. The ghost.
Its stealth capability will permit it to penetrate the most sophisticated air defenses and survive well into the 21st century.
Stealth is based on the so-called flying wing developed by Northrop in 1949 and rejected because of stability problems.
If you look at the B-2, you'll notice what isn't there. No tail, no vertical fins. Just a smooth, tailless flying wing with a jagged trailing edge. Engines buried in S-shaped ducts so radar can never catch the fan blades, the whole skin wrapped in radar-absorbing material. Its radar signature has never been officially released. It's classified. But the widely reported estimate puts it somewhere near the return of a large bird. A goose? Flying at 50,000 feet. Think of a black cat in a dark room. You know something is in there. You just can't get your flashlight on it until it's already on top of you. That's the platform. It can fly 6,000 miles without refueling, 10,000 with a single top-off. It can slip toward the edge of that missile wall, or straight through it. The only question was ever what it carries when it arrives. The secret weapon.
But the cost is raising eyebrows on Capitol Hill.
They're already saying that the bombers are going to cost almost $500 million apiece, but if they have the same type of cost overrun as they did with the B-1, it's entirely possible that this bomber would be literally worth its weight in gold, as much as $800 or $900 million per plane.
Now, the reveal. To be fair, the B-2 could already sink ships. Back in 2024, it dropped a quick sink bomb and put a decommissioned assault ship on the seafloor. But that weapon is a gravity bomb, a sledgehammer dropped from a roof. To use it, the bomber has to fly directly over the target, directly into the teeth of the fleet's air defenses. What the Air Force revealed on June 29th is the leap. The B-2 can now carry the AGM-158C, the long-range anti-ship missile. And this is not a bomb. It's a stealthy, powered cruise missile that flies itself to a ship from a publicly stated floor of 200 nautical miles away. And the real number is likely higher. If quicksink is a sledgehammer from the roof, this is a sniper's bullet fired from the next town over. The bomber never has to come within reach of the fleet's longest-range missiles at all. How it hunts?
The real thing joins a sister fighter announced earlier this month and will enter a bomber fleet with only average reliability ratings. The chances of trouble-free production.
And it doesn't just fly to a spot on a map. It hunts. For most of the flight, it navigates by GPS and its own internal guidance. But here's the part that should keep an admiral awake. The missile has a passive ear. It listens for the enemy ship's own radar, the signal the ship can't help but broadcast, and it homes in on that without ever emitting a sound of its own. To the ship's radar warning receivers, nothing is out there. Then, in the final miles, an infrared camera in its blunt nose opens its eyes, scans the group of ships, and matches the right one against a target library stored on board, picking its ship and aiming for the waterline. Picture a bloodhound turned loose in a parking lot. It sniffs out the one car with the exact exhaust signature it's hunting, then uses its own eyes to confirm the plate before it strikes. And it drops to the deck for the kill. A telephone pole doing 600 miles an hour, one boat length off the water, hidden in the sea clutter. Worse still, these missiles hunt in packs. Launch several, and they talk to each other over a secure link, coordinating their approach to swamp a ship's defenses from more directions than it can answer at once. The kill.
Can strike and return undetected by enemy radar. On a Californian desert airstrip, it has begun its first taxi runs in preparation for a maiden flight, likely within 10 days. But with 132 B-2's on order, costing at least $500 million each.
Which brings us back to that morning in the Philippine Sea. This was not one weapon against one ship. It was a joint, multi-domain volley, and the B-2's LRASM was one blade of it. The old hull took Harpoon missiles from a New Zealand patrol plane, a Hellfire from a Japanese helicopter, a Type 90 missile from a Japanese destroyer, and the B-2's ship killer, launched from far over the horizon. Then, a Japanese submarine slid a torpedo into her below the waterline and finished the job. One target, struck from the air, from the surface, and from beneath the sea, all at once, by 4 nations working as one machine. That's the real headline. Not a single missile. A kill web. What no one talks about.
Stealth bomber may depend less upon how it performs in the skies of California than here in the committee rooms of Washington. The Reagan administration refused even to discuss the stealth project, but now the Bush administration seems almost hungry for publicity in order to ensure continued congressional funding.
Now, the honest part, because the drama shouldn't outrun the facts. This was a controlled exercise. The target was a stationary, decommissioned ship, and the shooters were friends, not enemies. How the B-2 would truly perform against an alert, shooting adversary is classified. Nobody outside the program can tell you, and anyone who claims otherwise is guessing. That number you'll see quoted, that a single B-2 can carry 16 of these ship killers, it's inferred from a similar missile, not something the Air Force has confirmed. And China is not standing still. Its carrier killer missiles are real, and its fleet is still the fastest growing on the planet. So this was a proof of concept and a message. It was not a battle. Hold both of those truths at once. Why China should be worried.
Today, the House Armed Services Committee had their chance to interrogate the men behind the B-2 and signal trouble ahead.
The B-2 program is in a lot of trouble, a lot of difficulty, not for technical reasons, but simply the price tag.
Air Force Chief of Staff General Larry Welch took the congressman through elaborate Pentagon salesmanship, a slide presentation of the B-2's benefits. Then his boss put the Bush administration case.
Notice one thing. The Air Force never said the word China. A senior general framed it only as a message to any adversary who would threaten a free and open Pacific. But every analyst watching understood the geometry. For 2 decades, China built a navy designed to keep America's ships far, far away. This reveal answers that entire strategy with a single quiet sentence. the distance doesn't save you. Because a Ghost can lift off from Guam or from a field in Missouri, drift toward the edge of that missile wall, and loose a pack of autonomous ship killers before anything on the water knows it's there. Now go back to that retired hull in the test range. Imagine it isn't a hull. Imagine it's a carrier.
Enduring penetration capability for the bomber force.
In the 1940s, the US developed the Flying Wing, stealth's early ancestor, later scrapped. As the costs climb towards $70 billion, B-2 supporters must win the congressional dogfights to keep stealth from joining it in the museum.
The moment of truth and of intense political pressure for the B-2 stealth bomber rolled out this morning at the end of the 12,000-foot runway in Palmdale, California. The first attempt at a takeoff 2 days ago had been aborted for technical reasons. A senator had warned that the project was too costly to be a stealth taxi. So the bird had to fly in order to survive, and it did.
That is the message China was meant to receive. The B-2 was never a blunt instrument. As of this summer, it's a precision ghost that hunts fleets. So here's my question for you. Does a weapon like this make a war in the Pacific less likely or more? Tell me in the comments. Hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.